Life for All presents Daily Food Series, Word, Life, and Edification, Part 2. Title of Book 3, The Church, the Place of Those Who Love Jesus, by Pedro. Week 1. My sheep hear my voice and follow me. Thursday. Keeping, following, and practicing the Word. Read with prayer. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. And I give them eternal life, and they shall never perish. Neither shall anyone snatch them out of my hand. John chapter 10, verses 27 and 28. The dialogue between Jesus and the Jews, reported in the 10th chapter of John, took place during the Feast of Dedication, John chapter 10, verse 22. This feast was not a part of the festivals determined by God in the book of Leviticus. To understand this festival, let us look at a note from the Recovery version of the Bible. From 170 BC to 168 BC, Antiochus Epiphanes, king of Syria, invaded Jerusalem and looted the temple. Moreover, on December 25th, 168 BC, he sacrificed a sow on the altar and set up an image in the temple, thus defiling and damaging the temple. 3 years later, in 165 BC, Judas Maccabeus, a strong man of Judah, purified and restored the altar and the temple. He set December 25th, the day on which the altar and the temple had been defiled, as the beginning of a sacred feast that was to have 8 consecutive days of rejoicing to celebrate the great achievement of the purification and the restoration of the altar and the temple. This sacred feast is the Feast of the Dedication mentioned here. Continuing in the 10th chapter of John, we read, And Jesus walked in the temple in Solomon's porch. Verse 23. Solomon's porch was a place where Jesus used to go, and was also a place where the early church normally met. Acts chapter 3, verse 11, and chapter 5, verse 12. A porch is a large structure that supports a roof or the covering. Solomon's porch was a covered space at the entrance of the temple, similar to a lobby. As only the priest could enter the temple, other people gathered in this spacious area, which accommodated many people. When Jesus was in that place, the Jews surrounded him. Then the Jews surrounded him and said to him, How long do you keep us in doubt? If you are the Christ, tell us plainly. Jesus answered them, I told you, and you do not believe. The works that I do in my Father's name, they bear witness of me. John chapter 10, verses 24 and 25. Although Jesus had already revealed himself several times, the Jews still had difficulty believing and accepting. He then told them that everything he did was not his own work, but he did it in the name of the Father. Thus, he declared that these same works bore witness that he was the sent one of God. Jesus never abusively claimed to be the originator. They originated in the Father. He testified that all the miracles, all the signs, such as making the blind man see and healing the paralytic who had been sick for 38 years, were performed by the Father. Despite this, the Jews would not believe it. Then the Lord stated, But you do not believe, because you are not my sheep, as I said to you. John chapter 10, verse 26. Here comes a turning point, a landmark. Jesus came first to the Jews and gave them priority to receive him and gain eternal life. He made several attempts in this direction, but despite his insistence, the Jews continued not to believe in the signs and the miracles they saw. Under this circumstance, Jesus declared to them that because they were not his sheep, they were unable to believe even in the face of these signs. From that moment on, Jesus turns to look for his true sheep. How do we know if we are the Lord's sheep? Jesus himself revealed, "My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me." John chapter 10, verse 27. In other words, the Lord's sheep hear his word, love it, and appreciate it. This love for the word is evident in our teenagers, who sleep and wake up listening to the word, immerse themselves in it, and transcribe it. Thus they come to know the Lord more deeply, follow him closely, and are recognized by him. Those who follow the Lord are those who love his word, recognize his voice, immerse themselves in the word, and inculcate it in their hearts. These are the ones that the Father gave to the Son. John chapter 10, verses 28 to 30. No one comes to Jesus if the Father does not bring him. Chapter 6, verse 65. Therefore, if we are following Jesus, we give thanks to the Lord, as this indicates that the Father has granted you to the Son. You are in his hands. Write the sentence that touched your heart the most. Highlight the key points in this sentence. Pray according to the content highlighted above.